What's going on, guys? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Trey Gonzalez. I'm here with Coach Sanders as we get into week 4, homecoming week, against the Cibola Cougars, which I want to ask you all about them and all about what's going on with the team. But first, today's podcast is sponsored by CNB Bank. Experience over 100 years of trusted banking with CNB Bank, supporting local families, businesses, and community. Your hometown bank where tradition matters. Visit us today. Go Cavemen. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. It's a mouthful right there.
Yeah, that's a lot. Thank you, though. Thank you.
Yeah, so Lovington, obviously we'll start with that. Last Friday, you're going up against a team that on paper says there's no way, right? And to be quite honest, a lot of fans, a lot of predictions weren't saying it was going to be what it was.
No.
47-44 is a crazy score.
Yeah, instant classic.
Yes, it was. It was a shootout at the end for sure. But I wanted to start with one thing. Broken records against Lovington. In the moment, did you know that these special things were happening, or
No.
were you don't really pay attention to that?
No, didn't have a clue. Didn't know until actually the next day when we actually started looking at stats.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. I didn't, like I said, during the game, you don't think about that stuff unless you just have some guy that's just like, you just know going into it, hey, this kid needs 6 more catches.
Right, yeah.
Other than that, no.
Right, and they were game records, in-game records. So Cason Perez tied the school record for most passing touchdowns, 5 passing touchdowns, which is incredible. And then he also set the school record for most passing yards in a game, 373. That was 20 completions. So I feel like we've talked about this time and time again. The passing that you implement into the offense is starting to pay off more and more as the team starts to get more comfortable, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, that some of the stuff that we had, especially this game, we actually went into it with a plan, and actually they took a little bit of that away from us. They come out in some stuff that we didn't really expect them to do that. So they did a really good job of prepping and getting ready for us. And we kind of just changed gears a little bit and went to a more intermediate to, vertical type passing game. And it was there. And we have some electric guys out there that you get them in space and they can make stuff happen. And it happened. So
sure.
I wish we'd just got one more. Wish
Right.
we could have broke that. The one we tied.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's I'm proud of the kids. They did good. They did some really, really good things.
Yeah. And Cason's really not known for his legs. He's going to put it on the ground if you need him to. And he did a really good job. Yeah. Ended up with 35 rushing yards, set the school record for most total yards in a game. Yep. So a career game.
Yeah, it was a really good game for him. He, like I said, he tied 1 and broke 2. I think his total offense was 402 yards that he was responsible for. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think overall, at the end of the day, we were a 5-something, 520, 5-something. But we broke 5. So that's pretty good output from an offense. Like I said, the pundits, they had us, I saw Cal Preps and Max Preps 44-7 Lovington. So I'm really proud of our kids for not sticking their head in the dirt like I was telling them, and I hate to say this, but in the years past, I think a typical Carlsbad team at halftime, they kind of just pack it in.
Sure.
And that game does turn out to be that 44-17 game. And, we just go on about our business, and that's the Carlsbad way, and that's what we're trying to break. And our kids really took a step in the right direction. Now,
they did.
We would like to really get that win, and that would have been really good for us. But in the same breath, I told the kids the same thing, is we're not going to learn near as much from a win as you're going to do a loss.
Sure.
That one's going to sting, and you're going to learn a little bit more from it. So, big picture, program picture, it's not good for us, but it's we're going to, like I said, we're going to learn more from that loss than we would if we would actually pulled it out.
Yeah.
So, take it as it is, and just I tell the kids, don't miss that opportunity that we've been given to learn from this. So.
Yeah, and as a loss, I would say this is probably the biggest confidence booster of a loss, if that makes sense.
It is.
You guys put out more points than you did, I think, in the game before, right?
Yeah, so we were 45 against Goddard.
Okay, so close.
Actually right there at it.
Yeah.
So we were actually one less, but it's 2 back-to-back 40 point outings, and that's good. It gives confidence. They give them a little swagger, and we're gonna have some opponents that coming up in the next 6 weeks that are. It's gonna be hard to get 40. Absolutely, gonna be hard to get 40. But when you can get it, you better get it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So he set the school record. You said 402. I don't want him to get on me. 408 is what he ended up with. 408, which is pretty solid.
Check my stat. I'm just kidding.
But then school record most receiving yards in a game, 220, with 12 receptions. Bobby Castaneda. That was impressive.
It was very impressive. He had a night. And we all know that Bobby could do that at any moment. He was actually 2 receptions away from the single game reception record, which was 14. He had 12. Now that would be one that if I knew about, I would throw him a couple hitches or something and get it done. But in the spur of the moment, I didn't even realize he caught that many either until we looked at stats. I'm like, wow, he had 12.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's he's electric, and we got Evan on the outside on the other side, which people are going to try to eyeball Bobby, and that's going to be a mistake. Because Evan can do the same thing, and we got a lot of good skill guys. Our speed is kind of where we're going to hang our hat, and our quickness, and we just got to get it to where we spread it out a little bit. We were kind of one-sided a little bit.
Yeah.
It just happened to be that way as far as matchups and where we wanted to get the ball. How they played us defensively, but they were solid back there. I mean, that's a good football team. It was a really good game for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to watch him do his thing, like you said, Evan's on the other side.
Yeah.
He's got speed. Eloy's got speed. Like, we're talking about a lot of weapons on your squad. And what it brings up to me is the sophomore that showed out. I hadn't seen him yet, really. The running back, Brock Wright, came out balling.
Yeah, I told him, I said, you finally turned into a varsity running back this week. And he did. And, I think with the passing game doing what it's going to do, it's going to open us some opportunities to run the ball. And he's just a hard runner. He runs downhill. He ain't afraid to hit nobody. We just got to get him learned up on everything because he was a little bit late coming out. So we're still in the learning phases with him right now. But I'm really excited for what that kid can do because he's just that bull. Just go.
He's
run.
a big kid too.
He is. He's
6
like I said,
foot.
he's just a sophomore.
Yeah.
So a lot of really good things from that kid in the future.
Absolutely. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. A few impact players at the sophomore level, which is awesome. Is there an official record book stored away somewhere? How do we get access to that? Is there a way? Are these real records?
So yeah, they're everything that we've compiled. So there was a time period with some previous coaches where the records just kind of disappeared, got thrown in the back. We ain't going to do that. We're not going to keep track. Records aren't important.
Sure.
But in my feelings, it's like even if I leave this program and I'm not here anymore, those records are Carlsbad records. You kind of want to keep that going. Even if it's not what you want to do, it's bigger than you. But yeah, so we had to do some digging, and what we found is, we found what we had as far as records up to the 2017, 18 year or whatever, and then there was a void there. What Coach Millar did was actually statted out.
Wow.
Yeah, and just made sure nothing was broke. So what we have, I mean, there might be a one-off or two-off here that we don't know of, or we made a mistake on, or wasn't in the record book or whatever. But that's why there's an asterisk at the bottom of it. It's in the program. It's like the 4th page in the program.
Oh, really?
Has everything on it. So go buy a program. And
I'll buy a program now. You're giving me a reason. Shout out Coach Millar for that.
Yeah,
I mean, that sounds like a lot of work.
Well, he loves that stuff.
Yeah.
It goes back to the,
He's a history guy.
Yeah, he does all that stuff, and he compiled it all and got it all. And we still, there's some other stuff that I like to go. There's some really crazy records on there, like least points scored, like given up or whatever. The record's 5.
Really?
They'll never be broken. Ever.
You're saying that they're never going to...
They gave up 5 points in an entire season.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I thought you were going to say, in a game. I was like, so you don't think we'll ever get a goose egg? But
No, in a season.
In a season.
That's impossible these days. The way the game's changed.
What is that? A safety and a field goal?
I guess
and that's
so.
it?
I guess so. Pretty stout defense.
Yeah, no kidding.
So...
All right, so I had a one-off before we get into Cibola. The new Aaron Hernandez TV series is about to come out. I don't know if you heard about this, but I wanted to know if you could pick one player to have a series about, who would you pick? Who would have the most intense TV series? Obviously, Aaron Hernandez has got to be up there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. You're talking to any player.
Any player. It could be some guys that come to mind, OJ would probably be, but I think they have a few.
Yeah,
Aaron Hernandez was scary.
Who was the quarterback that for Washington that just completely destroyed his leg?
Oh man, that's gonna kill me. I remember.
You know who I'm talking about, though?
I do know who you're talking about.
It was like they almost had to amputate his leg, and then he actually it was Alex Smith, right?
Oh, you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
So
okay.
That would be kind of cool to see that whole process.
Well, there was another quarterback like years before, 30 years before that had his leg just snapped.
Theismann.
Yes, Theismann.
Yeah, LT got him.
That would have been.
LT
that'd be a good one
would be
too.
a good one, dude.
Yeah, that would
be all about drugs and rehab. And,
yeah, it'd be a tough one for sure. But Alex Smith, I don't know if you've seen his leg now, but it's
pretty nasty.
It's gross.
That'd be a cool little story.
That would be. Okay, so for Lovington, I felt like we had a whole new team. What contributed to this breakout performance that maybe nobody expected? The fans stayed the whole game, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that.
Man, and shout out to you guys because I did glance up fourth quarter, and man, that place was rocking and rolling. Student section was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They never licked they were there the whole time. The fans were there. They were into it.
Pool party theme.
The pool party theme.
It was rocking.
We're like 0-2 on pool party though, so we might have to kick out pool party.
Okay.
And stick something else.
The vibe's there, but
it's good. It's good. The kids did awesome. And I'm proud of our kids for giving our community something to be proud of. I had so many calls and texts, and the coach in me is like, yeah, that's good, but we still lost. And that's what I'm trying to get across to the kids. It's like, don't buy all this hype of like, oh, y'all did great, y'all did awesome, which they did.
They did.
But at the end of the day, like, we made a lot of mistakes in that game that cost us. We were 2 touchdowns better than Lovington, and I'm not fluffing numbers. I mean, we really were. We had 3 chances there at the end to stop them. That last drive, we had 2 personal fouls that jumped the ball up 30 yards. It's just you can always point a finger to this and that offense that could have done something somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we had our opportunities to just straight up win that game. And then now, what are people thinking?
Right.
It's a whole nother level of even what they are now. But I'm excited for you can tell that the fans and the community and everyone was like, that's what we want, and we can't just be a one-trick pony and do it once, but, that's what's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to take time, and we're going to have our boo-boos, and we're going to have our setbacks and speed bumps and whatnot, but, these kids work their tail off, and some of that stuff's starting to show now. And, it's hopefully that'll gain some momentum, and when we start rolling and we get some confidence, and we're not going into those Lovington games going, man, I hope we play good.
Right.
And it's like, we're going to get them this time. It's different. It's a different mentality. It's a culture thing, and it's just little bitty baby bites we got to take. And definitely in the right track. We still got a long way to go.
Yeah, and I've heard, like, in classrooms, in the community, around sports in general, in the past. So let's put this 5 years ago. Yeah. It's just like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll go to the game. Like, whatever. Now I'm starting to see a lot more hands raised, a lot more people talking about it, which is such a big deal.
Absolutely.
Because now football players that are maybe going to play are going to go, Friday night lights are a lot cooler now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
it's fun. And that's that culture we're trying to get. And I'm not just talking football program culture. I'm talking school culture. And I don't know if you've seen it or not or felt it, but it's different. With the stuff that we did Friday morning in between classes and the band, and
that was cool.
And kids were like, "Hey, that was cool, Coach. That was real cool." And you have the kids that were usually the ones that were like, "I ain't doing this. I'm too cool for school."
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting on top of the main, looking out across all this stuff, going, "Hey, this is cool."
Yeah.
Granted, they're not going to ever admit that, but
oh no,
But I think that kind of stuff and just good outcomes in football games and good energetic crowds and cool themes and just get this thing going to where it needs to go. Like that's where it needs to be. So keep coming, keep going, Carlsbad. We're going to get there.
Yeah. All right, so I have a couple of questions that we sourced from Facebook, as a matter of fact. And I have one as well that kind of piggybacks off one, but I'll give it. So Brandon Rhodes on Facebook, he wrote in a question, and he said, have you practiced anything this week in special teams to change what happened on Friday? A couple of big returns that, were fairly costly. Was there anything this week that you really addressed?
They had a great field position every time we kicked off. And we met as a staff on Sunday, and we addressed all those issues, and we really took a good hard look at who, what, when, and how did that happen. And the week before that, we had that same meeting, and we had kids that were, starting and going straight into defense, and we're like, let's try to break these kids. Let's give them a break, and let's do it here. And we had some kids that were on that, kickoff team that weren't on it the week before, and I think you learned a lesson day. Week 2. Now we learned another lesson week 3. We're just going to go back to best 11 on the field. Have those kids that are I hate to say it, but suck it up, Buttercup, man. It's you got to go.
Right.
I don't care if you go on defense next, if you played 80 plays. Like if we're kicking off, you're going. And that's just a mentality we're going to have. And granted, some of those kids are really great kids, and they do all the right stuff. But at the end of the day, man, we really got. I mean, that's huge. People don't realize this field position and what that actually transpired. It's a third of the game, and we didn't win a third of the game.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right, so another Brandon Rhodes question. What did you say to the boys to keep their emotions in check when the game was on the line, as we saw on Friday against Lovington?
I don't think I can't remember anything specific. No, nothing, no hoorah speech or nothing like that. It was more of just like, just talking to defense, going, hey, get us the ball back. We're going to score.
Just give them a mission, give them an objective.
You go do just one stop here, okay? We're going to, especially when we were still coming back, and then I said, just give me the ball back. Give me something, and that's actually when we got the fumble. And 2 plays later, we scored to take the lead. And then at that point, I didn't have to say nothing. Those kids were in it the whole time, because after that, it was back to back. And I didn't see our kids get down. I didn't see our kids, stick their head in the sand. Like, oh crap, it's over now. Offense. I was like, let's go. We got to go again. And I think our offense knows that they can be dangerous at times, and I think they felt like that we're going to go score again. It's kind of crazy when you get on a roll like that, and you can kind of get in that groove of seeing what they're doing and making calls and stuff like that. So, man, I don't think there was nothing special, but yeah, it was just give us a chance. Give us a chance. And we have to take advantage of those chances when they happen. And the problem is in the past, we've never even had the chance. So now we got the chance. Now we got to learn how to deal with that chance.
Hold on to it and finish it.
You know what I'm saying? So
closing's tough. Like
it's
a harder thing than people realize, especially on the mental side of things. It's like, hey, we just scored. We're in the driver's seat. Like you can't sit back and expect that to be it.
You can't score with a minute and 20 left and think it's over.
Right.
Like and I actually, you don't ever contemplate for, kneeling the ball or whatever. But I'm like, there's there's a minute 20 left, and we were down on the 1, and it's like, well, what do you do here?
You thought about that, yeah.
Do you take a knee and then hope you punch it in the next play? Like
right.
I would never do that.
That's tough.
You take your points when you can get them.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you can, you can actually get in or not. You don't know what happens to high school kids. So you take it when you can, and you just say, here you go, defense. Give me one stop.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We scored too fast.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so going back to the special teams, I had heard that Lennon didn't have his full leg strength, or something was going on.
No, yeah, he
because we weren't putting it in the end zone.
Yeah, he kind of bumped his toe a little bit, but he's good now. But yeah, he was feeling it a little bit. He was he was saying, I just can't get all in. So we went to started pooching, and actually that last kickoff we put it exactly where we wanted it. He put some old E on it, and it hit the ground and spun backwards, and that kid actually picked it up on our sideline and sprinted all the way to the other sideline. And I think we had some younger, newer guys on that right-hand side that didn't, keep their contained
line,
and keep keep their integrity of that, and then they kind of folded in a little bit, and he got the edge on us, and luckily we had some safeties back there to get him. And then we back-to-back, had personal fouls on some stuff, and so that, we had a real heart-to-heart talk on, I think it was Monday, actually it was Sunday, I believe, and it was all discipline. That's what cost us that game. It wasn't X's and O's, it was straight discipline.
Yeah.
And so we've been hammering down on that, just little stuff like, man, if I ask you to wear a blue shirt, wear a blue shirt. You don't have a choice. Like, this is what we're going to do. And coaches, you got to hold them accountable. You're just as responsible as we are, to holding these kids accountable. And if they're not doing what they need to be doing, it's on you.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I said, we had a good coaches meeting. We had a good meeting with the kids, and same thing with Artesia, same thing with Goddard. It is what it is. We played the game, win, lose, or draw. You learn from it, you wash it, you move on to the next week. So that's where we're at now.
Yeah. So some people ask me, so you put it in the end zone, 20 yards. You kick it out of bounds at any, what is the rule where because it's 35 yards if it goes out of bounds, right?
Yeah, it automatically comes out to 35.
What if you kick it out of bounds before the 35? It
goes out there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they'll mark it there. If it's past that, they don't even look at it. Gotcha.
Yeah, so you just want to just squib it out of bounds or nothing.
Sure. Okay. Very much.
That would have been just like kicking it deep and letting them return it.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Dominguez O'Fred on Facebook asked, he said, teams learn more from losses than wins. Did you make any adjustments defensively this week?
No, not as far as personnel or, changing from a 3-4 to a 4-3 or nothing like that. Pretty much just like we kind of did on offense. We're not overlooking Cibola by any means, but we're just not focusing on their game film or their schematics. So we're back to us again.
The best we can be at what we do.
Being in the right spot. We had some people running around, especially there towards the end, that they were out of position. And so we just got back to making sure we knew what we were doing, where we were at, back to basics, man, blocking, tackling. That's the stuff that wins you those football games.
Sure.
So we get that fixed, and we beat Lovington.
Yep.
But there's going to be another situation down the road where, going back to just old school tackling drills and stuff like that. So to answer his question, no big changes per se. We just kind of reset and went back to basics, and sometimes that's the easiest fix there is.
Sure. You kind of answered the question there, what does it look like in preparation for Cibola? You didn't really use that as let's practice towards something, but as coaches, you guys take it in, you take in your film, and then you just kind of game plan strategically on the plays and stuff.
Absolutely.
As you move forward. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's to us, it's especially offensively, we're going to run what we run. We're not going to, all right, we're going to run the triple option against these dudes. We have what we have. We go and we look and we see a defense and we schematically see how they're going to attack different formations, and then we say, okay, what do we like against that? And then we build a game plan off of that. And then you start getting into all, especially third downs, short downs. You got all this. It's the play sheet and all these equations and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's kind of we've got back to quit scripting stuff and quit getting all this big stuff worked out, and let's just go out there and just wing it and
play high school football,
do our stuff and run our stuff and do what we're comfortable with, and our kids are comfortable in it, and it seems to work a lot better.
Very good.
For sure.
Who are the Cibola Cougars?
That's a loaded question. Well, of course, they're from Albuquerque.
They're from Albuquerque.
They are from Albuquerque. They
wear UPS colors.
They do wear UPS colors, and it is.
I see you holding your tongue there. Very good.
They're not the greatest school colors in the world, I guess.
Okay, there it is.
But it's they're brown and yellow and Cibola Cougars. They sit in the same record we are right now.
Yep.
They play in a pretty tough district up there. They gotta live in that world with Cleveland's and Rio Ranchos and La Cuevas and all that good stuff. Typically have really good athletes, and they have a couple this year. They're a team that if we don't show up, we're gonna definitely pay for it. we can't overlook these guys at all. They'll have a couple guys that they have a number 6 if you're going to look out for a guy.
Okay.
He's one of the dudes to look out for. Probably one of the best backers in the state. They just got athletes. They've been kind of behind the 8 ball the last couple of years. I think 2 years ago they were like 8-0. Had a really good quarterback. He actually hurt his leg, and then they ended up making the playoffs, but they got knocked out in the quarters or so. So they're definitely someone you better not freaking sleep on because they'll make you hurt.
For sure.
Excuse me.
Okay, so do you think the Cavemen have found their identity?
Not yet.
No.
No, not yet. We're close.
Getting there.
We got some work to do in some areas, but I wouldn't say we're there 100%. No.
All right, so
Man.
fun one-off question that Dylan and I came up with off the air. A caveman gets in a fight with a cougar. Who wins?
Oh, okay, man. That's his lunch, man. That's dinner. That's what they used to eat.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. All right.
Cougar's pretty mean though.
I know that I'm gonna get comments later or like people telling me like that was a dumb question. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna take it. I'm fine with it.
Dumb question.
All right. So is the cave tunnel that the team runs out of retired? Because this last time, to my knowledge, is the first time I've seen it. But you said you've never had the inflatable tunnel.
So not since I've been here. I've seen it.
Because that's legendary.
It's in a trailer. It's the little bitty one.
I mean, it's maybe.
Yeah.
It's kind of small, maybe. I don't know. I thought it was fairly large.
I hate those things.
Really?
Well, I'm not a big fan.
Watching the Lovington one, that one was an ugly one. The Wildcats, that was an ugly one.
Yeah.
But the cave, like, I think it is kind of cool to have a cave.
It does fit.
Yeah.
So, we did we ran through the middle of the stadium and we did that. We had issues with that. And then we were just doing the planes. I'm not a big hoopla guy. I hate.
No dog piles anytime soon.
No dog piles. No dog piles. No helmet stickers. No names on the back of the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the old school Coach Sanders coming out, but
Alabama style.
Yeah, I mean Penn State's I would love to be Penn State. Just blue jerseys, no name on it, white helmet, like.
Mm-hmm.
But so we just decided to go with the banner. The cheerleaders were doing banners for us. We just got that really big run through banner, and it's cool.
It's cool.
It's simple. It's pretty classy. It's nothing we have to haul a trailer to somewhere to go set up. I hate when teams bring, they try to bring their stuff to our stadium and set it up. Like I don't even want to bring our banner to other places.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is to me. But I'm just not a big hoopla guy.
You're a lunch pail guy.
Very much so. Yeah.
I want to know why we don't have play clocks. Did that have anything to do with the field house being built or something? We didn't have play clocks in the end zone.
You're trying to get me to say something to get me in
trouble.
Yeah,
I am. No, I mean, because we're announcing the game and we look, and I'm like, okay, if we have delay a game, I mean,
we
did
early.
but not near as much as against Artesia, which I think is a communication improvement.
That was a game plan thing. We tried to run plays in. That was all on me. I eat that one. We were trying to slow that game down a little bit. And we slowed it down way too much. But I think it was our kids didn't realize the rules. And, after a penalty, it's not a 40-second play clock. It's a 25-second play clock. So we got to go.
Oh, yeah.
But, there's no play clocks. There probably won't be any play clocks this week either.
Really?
They had them going, and they were working. They're not talking for some reason. There's something going on with them. They were working like a dog out there on Friday to get it all straight. But
that's
come
tough.
down to it, there was some module or something that we had to order. So
and there's a new play clock on the sideline, right?
Yeah, that's actually our. We got that for practice. That's our segment timer.
Okay.
So the way we practice, we have 23 periods, 24 periods, 5 minutes periods. So it'll actually have the 5-minute countdown, and then it'll tell you what period you're on for that. Whatever it is, right? So period 14. And so when we script practice, it's all broken down. I'll send you one so you can put it on your
Yeah.
It's kind of it's like I said, it's down to the every 5 minutes, and we I have to coordinate it with the defense when we come together and stuff, and then we got our indie time, and so it's a big orchestra every day. I spend most of my days like tonight when I get done with this, I'm going back up there and I gotta finish my script for tomorrow.
Okay. Wow.
And then
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's way cool, but that big clock helped us out tons to keep us on track. Because if it was up to me and we were practicing, we'd go, something shiny over there, so we go do that. We'll go do that for 10 minutes, but that keeps us on track. I know Coach Ballard keeps Widener on track because he's like, hey, something shiny.
He's a squirrel.
Yeah, he's a squirrel. Big time squirrel.
Yeah.
So it keeps us on track. It keeps us, and it helps me to get everything I need to get in. So I guess basically, you work your plan and plan your work or whatever plan your work plan, and it helps us to make sure we don't miss stuff during the week, as far as practice and stuff. So it's just trying to be organized.
Coach, wishing you the very best of luck against Cibola. Homecoming, we got a show out for the whole school, wearing their corsages and going on their dates.
Get the kids out in. If you can't get in, you come find Coach Sanders. We'll get you in. We'll figure it out. I want every student in this school to be at the game. And if we have to let them in the back door and I pay it out of my pocket, I don't care. We'll figure out how to get those kids in. So make sure you guys get there.
Talk to Coach Sanders. Make sure you're in the gate. Enjoy it. It's too much fun to not even be there, even if you don't like football.
It's a great high school experience, man.
It is.
So, and then the community as well, man. Come back out and rock and roll, and y'all show out. I'm proud of you guys. Thank you guys for doing what you did, and keep it up.
Can you promise us that? No, I'm just kidding. All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate
awesome,
you.
Man.